Hey everybody, this is Jeremy Thom, and welcome to the back room at my house in Portland, Oregon. Thanks for taking a second just to listen to hear some of my heart and what's going on here, and maybe you actually clicked the button not even knowing what you were going to get, and I just say thank you for sticking with me for a few minutes. It was about 6 or 7 years ago when we did our last music project. And ever since then, people have been asking, wondering when the next thing is coming. But over these past 6 years, God's had some different stuff in store. And for some of you, I've spent a lot of time with you over the last 6 years. For others, maybe you were wondering what has been going on. And it was really just over 6 years ago that God called myself and my family to Meadow Springs Community Church in Portland, Oregon, where I've been privileged to serve as a worship pastor for the last 6 years. So we've been doing that and growing and learning a lot of things while doing that. Also in the last 6 years, our family has grown. We've got 3 kids now, with the oldest at 6 and the youngest at almost 5 months. So life has just kind of gone some different paths, and it's been pretty crazy, but just really good and great and awesome stuff. But the conversation has kind of gotten going again about doing another music project, and started almost a year and a half ago on a little bit more of a serious level, and then really in the last couple of months, things and ideas for this project have started to take off a little bit. And it's just been an exciting time, and now it's kind of just time to go. And we believe God is asking us and just saying it's time. And so here we go, and I want to kind of share with you a little bit of a vision for that project and what we're about to do. The first part of the vision is really just from a songwriting standpoint and wanting to be able to communicate stories about what God has done in my life, as well as what God has done in the church life of our own church. Story is such a big thing today, and the truth is that even though it's so big in our culture right now, story has always been a big deal. But even in our culture, when you look at businesses and things like that, you look at billboards and commercials, you see people telling stories everywhere. A bank wants you to give a testimony about how opening a checking account saved your life. But, story is a big deal. And so in writing songs and for a worship leader working in a church, as we sing songs together as a church, we are reciting the story, and that story is of the gospel of Christ and how it's affected our own lives and what he's done for us. So we want to take some time in this project to stop and be very specific about the stories we choose to write about, and I'm excited about doing that. And then the vision really for it is kind of twofold. That number one, this project would be a great encouragement for the believer, those who follow Christ. That something like this, when you know the stories about a song, and you sing that song, you're reminded of what God has done for you, for me, and for us as a corporate body, and we can hold on to what He has done, and then go into the future with hope that He will keep His promises and that He will do the same thing, because our God is always the same. So we want it to be an encouragement to the believer. But we also want this project to be a real evangelistic tool. Again, in sharing stories through song, it gives us a great opportunity to share with friends and with family and anybody who would hear these songs about what these stories mean, and give them an opportunity to investigate a little bit more what Christ has to offer and what our God has done for us through the cross. And that alone is just an exciting thing. But we also believe a project like this can open up some doors, whether it be here locally in our own neighborhood and in the park and doing some evangelistic things, or whether it be overseas and doing some traveling. We really believe that there can be a strong evangelistic part of a project like this. Now, part of what we've come up with for the vision of this thing and being evangelistic is the idea that we want it to get into as many people's hands as possible. So whenever we have that final product, whenever we have that CD in our hand, we want to be able to just give it away as much as possible. So what that means is that we actually have to raise the funds for a project like this, much like a missions trip or something, rather than just putting it out of our own pocket and trying to reimburse ourselves and get the money back and stuff like that. So that's where the vision is right now, in that we want to raise the funds for this project, and then therefore, because we've raised the funds, we really have flexibility and freedom in in the idea of selling a project, because we really don't have to sell it because it's been all donated funds. Now, of course, there will be opportunities for us to sell it, whether it be on iTunes and digital download stuff or in stores. And the great thing is that we have flexibility with that money as well. So that money can get put into future projects, and hopefully, and more importantly, it can get filtered right into different missions opportunities that may arise through the production of this project. So we're excited about the flexibility involved in that. So why did I tell you all this when we haven't even really started this process yet? Well, like I said earlier, I kind of alluded to the fact that in some ways it's much like a missions letter. That if you are a part of a church right now, you probably get missions letters, especially here in the spring, from students and from adults. And so we want to come to you, asking you for your prayer and asking you for your possible financial support as well. We need prayer, especially in the songwriting process, that we'd be able to write songs that are very clear and accurate, and just bring the gospel to life, for not only the reminder of those of us who already believe, but also just for the communication to those who have not heard the gospel and are working through that. And then we do need the financial support to pull this off. We are all different parts of the body, and we've really been, we meaning my wife and I, my family, we've been really struck recently at just an understanding of what part of the body we are and how God has gifted us and how He uses us. And so we understand what we can bring to the table. And unfortunately, because then I wouldn't have to do this, God has not called us right now to be the pocketbook of the body of Christ. And so we need to open that up and just invite all of you to join us in this process. Again, it becomes then something that the body of Christ is doing together, not something that any one individual or two individuals are doing, but it becomes something that we can all do together. So we do want to invite you to join through prayer. We want to invite you to join through possible financial giving. And what's going to happen is, I don't know where you're viewing this. You might be viewing this on YouTube or somebody else's site. But if you head over to our site, I believe you can get there through jeremythom.com, or you can just do the whole Facebook thing and facebook.com/the Jeremy Thom Project. And somewhere around there you'll be able to find some options for donating, and you can donate whatever you want to. I mean, if you just think, hey, a CD is worth $15, I'll donate that, that's great. If you have $1 in your pocket, that's great. If you want to give much, much more than that, that's great too. But I want you to know that what you're giving to is more than just some music that you're hoping you'll like down the road, but you're actually giving to the spread of the gospel. So you're going to look around, you're going to see some stuff, some options for giving, and if you want to, that would be wonderful and awesome. But I also want to help you out, and so I want to give you a little incentive on giving, and at least I'm told this is an incentive. I don't know if I would consider it that, but here we go. What will happen if you give anything from $1 and up? As soon as you give, you are going to receive 3 tracks from myself, and thankfully I've pulled my wife in the mix so that she can make it sound better. But you're just going to you're going to get 3 tracks from us. Now these tracks could be anything. I already know what 2 of them are because we've actually already finished them. But they're just raw acoustic tracks of songs that we like, songs that I've chosen. It could be the first song that I ever allowed to be in a worship service. It could be my favorite Christmas carol. It could be a song that we're working on right now. It could be something kind of humorous and funny. It could be even a serious thought that I throw at you that maybe you'll find serious and funny. But you're going to get those 3 tracks. And then on top of that, every month until this project is completed, you will get another acoustic raw track from me in kind of this same vein. And they will download automatically to your media player, just like a podcast, and then from there you can do whatever you want to with them. So you're going to get 3 right away, and then once a month until this project is done. So, I don't know if that's much of an incentive or not, but I would still pray that even those tracks could just be an encouragement to you as you go along the way. So, I think that's really about it. If you have any questions, or if you want me to dive deeper into the vision of this thing before you, while you're trying to decide if you want to give to this or not, please feel free to contact me. Some of the specifics we're still working out, and I don't have all the answers for, but we are hoping to get this process started as soon as possible and get the songs written and start laying down stuff. So we're excited. It's been a long time in talking and praying, and we really do believe that God right now is telling us to go, and He's telling us to not go by ourselves, but He's telling us to walk through this with the body. So we just want to invite you to follow along. Maybe even you can do the whole like thing on Facebook, and we'll keep you informed as the process moves through. But we just invite you to join this process with us and be a part of using song to share the story of the gospel and to spread that gospel as far as it can go. So thanks a lot. Jump on for a ride. I think it's going to be a fun couple of months. And here we go. Have a great day.
Like sunrise and sunsets and moonlight over the sea, like ocean tides, the stars shining bright, your love is to me.